We're together.
Good morning, guys. Jason's getting a few more resources pulled together for you. I'm home. How weird is that? We're
Very
here.
weird.
It's so awkward. Like this, we really divide like church and state. And so us sitting here side by side, the amount of like little spats that we've had of like, turn the light. This lighting sucks. Your chair's in my way. It's been comical. And Colt's here too. My guy.
Oh boy.
He's so here. He is, guys, my love and my baby. So I have to tell you guys on a personal note, no big deal, but I'm still home this morning because I'm not fully ready because John Mayer is personally taking me on a date tonight to the Enterprise Center to profess his love for me in front of thousands of other women. So, so I don't quite have everything ready to leave the home yet because I'm preparing for my date with John Mayer tonight. I might be a little bit ridiculously excited. So
It's not that good anymore. This isn't 2006.
Okay, guys. So if anyone would like him, I can ship him your way. And I'll hold on to John Mayer. But no, all joking aside, I'm going to the John Mayer concert tonight with my best friend, and I feel like a high schooler getting ready for prom because I'm so excited. Clearly, I get out a lot. But we're here. We've got some exciting updates to talk to you guys about. Obviously, there was a core update. What was it? Last week or the week before, March 15th-ish, if I remember correctly. And
14th.
Well, your note right there says the 15th. So I'm going off your notes.
All right.
So we're starting to see some actual results rolling in. We have also gotten an email from almost every client panicking, watching the ranking reports, ping, 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 do what they do. Guys, it's normal. We talked about this last week. If your rankings, you have any type of system that monitors them and you're like, holy cow, stuff is going AWOL. It's normal right now. Google is figuring things out. They're rescanning. They're basically applying this update, and it's going to jack everything up for a little bit. It will all settle back down.
But it is done rolling out.
So that's a win.
And I just left the link to the article in the comments if you want to go read it. But it is done rolling out, which is good. But in my experience, it always lasts a little bit longer because like I was seeing sites yesterday that hadn't been affected at all the first week, and then yesterday all of a sudden they went down or up or crazy. Like, you know, when they say rolling out, doesn't mean that it's hitting every site from day one.
Right.
It's gradually rolling out, you know, going through its motions or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of those sites were just hit yesterday, and now they're jumping around, and those other ones that got hit day one are crawling back. You know, the rankings are crawling back where it's fluctuating back up. So
well, and it also depends too, just a little bit on the system that you're using for your ranking reports too, because you guys remember Google's a living, breathing machine, and so are the systems that are running your reports. They're taking a snapshot at a moment in time and pulling that data. So just calm down, give it a little bit of time to settle. Don't whack out.
Correct. It's hard not to.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of sites are going up and down. Even our site, like some of our blog pages and some of the pages that we have on our site that we rely on rankings to, you know, get leads and stuff. I mean, they're going up and down. So I mean, it's everywhere that's happening. But that's updates,
Right.
and you just have to live through it. And at the end of the day, after the update is over, then you have to kind of assess what is going on. And people are now just starting to kind of do that and see what's up with it. Mainly what we're seeing it be is I'm seeing a lot of the older sites that we have in our portfolio, or whatever you want to call it. Some of the older sites have not been affected much at all. Now that could be because of age, but it also could be because of they just have a lot of older EAT signals or more EAT signals. They have an author attached to it, and Google fully well knows that author, right? And then some of the newer sites, of course, where a lot of that stuff just isn't well known to Google yet, they're taking more of a dip at the moment. So Also, quality content is huge. I'm seeing a lot of sites, especially since we talk about carrot sites so much, that are that have not been edited, where you haven't rewritten the content. Those are getting hit very, very hard, just like they have been over the last couple years. But with this update, it seems to be really honing in on it, focused on it. So highly, highly, highly. I mean, it's 100% necessary now. You have to rewrite your carrot site, the homepage, the city pages. You have to make it 100% unique. It's got to be unique content and not AI content either. You agree?
I agree.
Cool.
He was feeling a little spicy about all of this morning because there's so many different facets of what has happened with this rollout and so many different ways that you can use it or you need to address it within your own website. So one of the biggest things and why these older sites have sustained through this, like Jason was saying, it's because of EAT. It's because their trust and authority has been built out online. And if you're someone's itchy. And if you're newer to the game, I mean, that's just nature of the beast. You don't have that built out yet, which is why some of the things that we're going to talk about, such as authorship, are so important, especially for you new guys and for those that are really seasoned in this to stay ahead of the curve. This is what Google is going to be looking for. This is going to impact Google search results. This is something that consumers are going to be seeing. And you guys, like it or not, what was it? Probably 10, 15 years ago, we didn't really associate much with a little star, right? Now we see stars and we immediately think trust. Instantly. We know within a blink of an eye without even thinking, that's 3 stars, that's 4 stars, that's 5 stars. We just go bad to good. And Google has trained us to do that. Reviews have trained us to do that. There are other things that Google is going to be training us to do, to look at, to learn how to trust. And one of those is authorship. Mm-hmm. You want to talk to them a little bit about that and what that's going to look like?
Well, authorship. I mean, we've talked about this before a lot, actually. And a lot of you guys have started to do it. A lot of you have not. I understand there's a lot of stuff to do in your lives. And this is just another thing, right? But authorship, you have to get on the boat, because
what does that mean? First of all, what does authorship mean?
Who's writing the content?
Yep. Google wants to know who is writing the content, who personally, not a company, not website, not whatever. They want to know who is producing the content.
Correct. Who is producing the content? Who is behind the site? Are they real? Is it just a website, or is it, this guy's thoughts and his experience and him telling a story and trying to actually help people from experience, right? There's just a big difference with it all. And that's why having your LinkedIn profile is absolutely huge. Like, LinkedIn, by the way, just ranks so well. Yes. Like, anytime you Google my name, or if you Google our company, our LinkedIn company page or our LinkedIn, my personal LinkedIn profile pops up like number 1. Like, they're very, very powerful. So just having another ranking property in there is great, but it's a huge authorship signal. Twitter is also pretty huge. What's that? Oh, we got a comment. So Twitter can also be huge for authorship, because a lot of the big names are out there on Twitter, right? So you got LinkedIn, Twitter, you have your link tree to tie everything together. And then, of course, also is Gravatar, which I don't know if we've talked about.
No, but we need to.
Gravatar that much. I might need to make a video this week and try to get it on YouTube for you guys about that. But Gravatar basically ties in with WordPress, and it's like a globally recognized profile, which attaches to your email address. So anywhere that you are using, like, whatever your user is inside of your Carrot WordPress site, okay, because it is WordPress, whatever email address that you're using for that user is tied to your Gravatar profile if you have one. So whatever you have on your Gravatar profile, like if you have your profile picture and some links to like your LinkedIn and Linktree and stuff like that, it's all going to be attached inside the WordPress ecosystem. And it's globally recognized. It's a huge trust signal. And it displays that image that you have in Gravatar everywhere that you're using that user profile with that same email address, if that makes sense. So it's very, very powerful.
Just like we talk about your NAP, your name, address, phone number, and how Google is able to tie all of that together to kind of see your company's online presence, they're doing the same when it comes to the Gravatar and that email address and your online authorship. So that's kind of the way that it brings it back to one hub to connect all of that back to you. You want to answer that question, but first, before we jump into too much more?
Yes, I thought I just had something else. Okay. Does each city page have to be different or unique from each other? So I think what you're saying is, can you make one strong city page and then basically just duplicate it out and change the city names? In my experience, now this might change with this update on what we're finding and whatnot, but in my experience, that still 100% works. Because all of these sites that are still ranking number one right now, or first page of Google, I should say, they all do the same thing. They do not have a unique, like 100% unique city page for every city. That would be mind-boggling to do. So, I mean, if you go and look at who's actually ranking, those people are still ranking, right? They're basically making one strong city page with, you have to dial it in. It's got to be 100% unique. You got to have a lot of entities. You really have to measure it against the competition before you start publishing it out, but make one really, really strong city page and then duplicate that out across your other cities, of course. So I believe that still works 100%. What's up?
Nothing.
It's weird being in the same room.
It's very weird, and especially having cold.
Yeah. I thought I had something about the authorship that was in my mind.
Yeah, we were going to talk about how it's going to affect the SERPs, what you're going to see there.
Okay. Yes. So there was actually, this came out this morning, like 7 a.m.
I feel like we need something flashy across the screen, like one of your cool guy banners. This just in.
Oh, I didn't make any banners.
No cool guy banners.
Nothing cool. Whoa, Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
This
is why I work out of the off.
Let me put this in the box. Okay, so this came out this morning, and this backs up what we're talking about with eat signals. Okay, and let's get rid of this comment. Okay, so basically, Search Engine Roundtable. If you guys don't read this, you should. There's a lot of great updates on it. But basically, let me blow this up. All right. Google perspectives about this author and more goes live. So this came out this morning. Basically, what they're doing is they are attaching authorship and who's actually writing these different things like tweets, articles, featured snippets. They have new perspective sections and showing like the authors. There's different things that they're doing about it. It's going to look different on mobile versus desktop, but a lot of new stuff. So they're really trying to show who is the author behind this article, right? Who is the source, search engine land, and who actually wrote it, right? And if you don't have any of this like filled out on the web, if Google doesn't know who you are, one, you're probably not going to get like this featured kind of snippet type thing. And you're not going to be showing up number one either, right? So just a lot of stuff in this article that you can go and read about. They're just trying to attach everything, every article, every bit of content back to an author, okay? And who is the author? Oh, what I was going to say is it just popped in my mind talking about that is like on your Carrot site, or if you have a normal WordPress site, if your user, like your admin user, when you log into your website is like admin or whatever, just like user 123, and it's not your name, it doesn't have your email address attached to it, like, guys, that's not good. It needs to be your name, it needs to be your email address, and you need to have that information filled out about it, so you are an actual author to your blog post. I hate when I see a blog post and it says written by
Yeah.
admin 123 or something like that, right? Because it's like, that doesn't tell me anything. Like, it could be anybody. Or if it's one of your VAs, I'm seeing this a lot lately. You guys have a lot of VAs that write articles for your website. Do not have your VA with her username of whatever, unless she is an author, right? Having her name display or his name display, right? Have them post it under your name. Okay, under the actual author of the website, and not just a random VA's name, because it's not giving you any credit when it's done that way. Okay. So just more and more eat signals. I mean, that's basically it. They're honing in on it quite a bit. You have to do it. There's no way around it.
And I think Google's really trying to bring truth and light forward to an extent.
Correct, because of AI.
Right. We as digital marketers have seen over the past 10 years how much you can fake everything online. You can fake content, you can fake reviews, you can fake you can fake everything. And for the longest time, it was just a game of how much, how quickly, how much, how well can you mass content. And in order to keep consumers happy and relevant, Google is going, oh crap, we need to clean house and we need to make this good for the consumer again. Each little update that rolls out like this, or massive update, take some time and set aside however much time you can do, or outsource it to someone if you don't have the time, to start getting ahead of these. It's been almost a year since Google's helpful content update, right? It was like last summer.
Yeah,
or spring.
Last spring or summer.
The more and more time that gets ahead of you, again, remember, SEO is like a car on a racetrack. Everyone's going round and round, and playing with Google's content updates gives you gas and fuel to keep going. So don't let too much time get ahead of you where you're not playing the way Google wants to play, because your car is going to slow the heck down. And then by the time you go, oh crap, I probably should have paid attention to that helpful content update, your biggest competitor is now 100 laps ahead of you, because they took 15 minutes once a week for the first 6 months of this, or whatever it is, to tweak their site to get ahead of these updates and changes. Google's looking for you to do this. They're looking to see who is listening to us, who's making these changes, because not only do they want you to play the way that they want to play, but they're looking for you to be responsive, right, guys? That's why Google's always crawling, moving, doing, shaking, whatever.
Crawling, doing, moving, shaking. That's true.
But it is. They want to see who's responsive and who's reacting. And those people who are obviously reacting and taking initiative on their sites are credible people. Like, a credible business owner is going to say, okay, Google is looking for this. I'm going to go make this change to my site. And Google's going to reward that.
Correct. Like, I mean, think about how more powerful it is when you have a piece of content written and that piece of content is attached to you, who has a completely filled out LinkedIn profile with all of your history of where you worked, where you work now, recommendations from other people, maybe some of the links to different articles that you've been featured in, or it links back to your website, links back to your blog. And then it also maybe links to your Twitter account, which you don't need thousands of followers, but you have an active Twitter account for a little bit of time and it's fully filled out. And that also links back to your LinkedIn, or links to your website or your link tree. And then your link tree is linking to everything, and Google can tie all of this into it all together. And they can say, okay, this is a real person with real experience. We can see his pictures that he's posting or whatever. Maybe you have it tied to your Instagram account where you're showing all of the different photos that you know, of the houses that you're going to look at or whatever, right? Google can tie all of that together, right? And it's going to help at the end of the day. You're going to get more recognition, not only from Google and search engines, but people.
You better recognize.
Right? People look at all that stuff. You're funny.
You're funny.
Okay, let's pivot.
Pivot.
Hopefully people understand that. Let me pull this up here. So
if you don't know pivot, you might not be our people.
To talk about AI real quick again, I saw this morning and I just thought it was interesting. So check this out. This is the right button. Okay. So this is looks like Ahrefs. What was that? Oh, hold on. So this is Ahrefs, and this is a graph on a website. You can read it right there, I believe. Yeah. So real world example of the impact of creating full blog post content with ChatGPT. So this is a blog that they did a website. People are doing all types of tests where they're just pounding out blog posts that are completely ChatGPT. Like they're 100% AI content. They're not edited. Maybe even they do have an author attached to them. They can, but that might actually hurt you. In this case, it did. Whatever they're doing, it's 100% AI, right? And you can see everything went sky high. Like it worked for a couple months, right? Because Google was trying to figure it out. What's going on? I mean, it's almost like instant. Like ChatGPT came out in, I think it came out in November, December. So they were figuring it out and then boom, right? Google loved it. Google was trying to figure it out, and then all of a sudden, smacked. Sorry, boy. And that's what we're seeing a lot. Like you can't just have 100% AI content. It's not unique. Google doesn't necessarily like it. There's ways to use AI content, but you can't just, have a blog full of it and expect good results, especially in the long run. It might be a churn and burn type situation. It might work for a couple months. But long term, it's not going to work. Yeah.
Okay. If you have multiple sites, does it hurt to have the same content or photos on those sites?
If you have multiple sites, does it hurt to have the same
I hear an echo.
or photos on those sites? Yeah. Photos, not necessarily so much. Like you can have obviously same photos of yourself or company photos or whatever, things like that. I would recommend though, when you're uploading these photos, I would change the file name. I would change the alt text, things like that. It can technically be the same image, but I would make them unique by changing the file name, changing the alt text when you're uploading them.
So for instance, if we have a picture of us and we make it the name of the file, Danielle and Jason Moss Tech headshot, but then we also want to put it on our St. Charles County house fire site because Google does scan images and it scans the text associated with that. If we put something that says Danny and Jason Moss Tech headshots on St. Charles County house fire site and Google scans that, it's conflicting information, right? So if we're going to put that same image on both sites, we would want to name that image Danny and Jason St. Charles County house fires headshot or whatever the heck it needs to be titled. Does that make sense though? So if you're mixing company names and your file names, Google will scan those and it will be conflicting. It won't help you.
Correct. Yeah, because remember, there is Google image search, right? And that's all tied into your file names, alt text, stuff like that. And that can really help out with keyword rankings. That's an easy way to also stuff keywords. Instead of putting them in text on the page, you can change like your alt text and the file name to your keywords and get more juice on the page, so to speak, right? Having the same content, though, on multiple sites, I guess it would depend on what kind of content, but I would lean towards no to that. Now, if you're talking about like a business description, using the same business description on like all the citations that you're making, that's a whole different thing. That's perfectly fine. I've made thousands of citations with the same business description and still get the same kind of result. for them. But having the same exact content, website to website, I mean, no, you're not going to want to do that. Every site needs to be unique. And that's kind of like what we're talking about with carrot sites. If you just, pop out of the box carrot sites, they all have the same content, right? And those aren't going to rank. Those aren't going to be good at the end of the day. So that needs to be unique.
Yeah. Derek, if you're still watching and be interested to know, what are your different sites for? Are they in the same market? Are they attracting buyers, sellers? What do you have the multiple sites for? How are you applying that? If you're still there and you want to drop a comment back, that might help a little bit too. We can speak a little more to that.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like maybe like your about page where it's like a blurb about you, that kind of falls under like the business description type thing. That's like your personal description. Maybe your personal description is pretty much the same, but you're changing a little bit here about being the owner of this company and the owner of this company, things like that. There can be little things like that, which is pretty much the same content. But that kind of falls under the business description or personal description, that type of thing.
Okay. So it looks like different markets directed to finding sellers. So as long as that content, I think, needs to be obviously relevant in that local market, that's a big thing. You will not believe the number of times that we look at different sites and we see duplicated city pages, but the city has not been changed out, whether it's on the page or in the URL or in the title or wherever. So if you are duplicating your content, make sure that you're changing out the city on those city pages. Who was it? Well, we shouldn't call it names. That's bad. But there was one person who their city page URLs were like St. Charles County 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, we see it all the time.
It was all for different cities.
Like,
but as far as different sites go, do you have any tips on that? Like how to efficiently have content for both without over duplicating the content?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If you're running multiple sites in multiple markets, that's just one of the downsides of running multiple sites is you have to have 2 of everything or 3 of everything or 4 of everything, because it's got to be unique content. You can't have a strong city page on this site. It's unique to this site, and then take that same exact city page content and throw it over on this different site. That falls right back under to what like carrot sites are, right? If it's the same content, but on different sites, it's eventually not going to work. Like it's got to be unique to the site. Now, when it's unique to the site and you duplicate it on the site out to multiple pages, that's fine because it originated from that site and it's just duplicated across that site. But moving it to other sites, it's not going to be good. It's got to be unique to the site.
Think about it like this. If you had 1, 2, 3 home buyers and 4, 5, 6 home buyers, and even though they're both in the same market, they both have pages that say the exact same things, Google's going to look at it and go, I don't know which one of you I trust. You're both saying the exact same thing. It's going to struggle with knowing who to rank or what to rank. It's not, I don't know.
Right. And it also just falls under plagiarism.
Yeah.
Right. You can check any website, go into copyscape.com, I think it is. But yeah, Copyscape, and you can just throw in like a URL where you can throw in a batch of text, and it'll tell you if it's finding that text on other websites. And if you do that with like an out of the box carrot site, it'll be like, yeah, we found this paragraph on 950 other websites. Like, we see that happen all the time.
Yeah.
So that is what we're seeing.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Also, I made a post yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't know, in the group about trusted REI. That is a huge signal as well. We have over 3,000 people, 3,000 REIs over on Trusted REI. Okay. A lot of the profiles are not claimed. If yours isn't claimed, go to Trusted REI, go to the Join Today page. You can search your business to see if it already exists on here. And if it does exist, just claim the profile. Okay, you can claim it, then you can edit everything. If it does not exist yet on Trusted REI, then you can just sign up for a new one, and it's completely free. But once you're in here, you have a lot of different options. You can fill out your information. You can upload pictures. You can get the verified badge. You can write your business description. You can load up reviews. We're even allowing you to embed videos. You can embed your GBP, okay, your Google Business Profile, your map. You can embed that, have your hours. You can have all of your links. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. And this is just a huge, huge, huge trust signal to not only your sellers, okay, but also to Google, because it is a very, very niche relevant website. Okay, there's nothing more niche relevant than what this website is trying to do. Okay, because it is all about building trust with REIs. Okay, verified house buyers. It is like the most specific type of directory that you could possibly be in. And we talk about being in all the niche specific directories, how they're a lot more powerful than something like Yelp or Manta, just because those are general directories. You want to be in niche relevant if possible. So
good stuff.
Other than that, that's all I got.
Sweet. Guys, if you have questions, you know where to drop them.
Yeah.
You know who will help you.
She will. She comes back and answers everything.
No, but I do tap my toe and make sure that he answers you guys sometimes.
That is true.
He gets pulled in a lot of directions, so.
That is true.
But we always do want to make sure that we take care of you guys and everything that you need to run your businesses to be successful. So again, if you have questions, drop them in the comments. Thanks for hanging with us and dealing with us live and in person together, with Colt joining us too.
What a dog.
He is our baby, guys. This is our love. Big time. All right, we're going to go get to work. You guys have a great day. If you need anything, just holler.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Have a good one.